This episode of Moist Meter brought to you by GODSLAP. Issue 3 is out right now at godslapbook.com. You can find links below in the description. Go check it out.
Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at the new Shazam movie, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I mean, it's not great. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not very good. I don't know what to tell you. It really feels like DC's serving up Naruto filler for movies at the moment. This whole film felt so utterly worthless. I can't even like fully explain it without getting into spoilers. So I'm not going to, because I try and avoid spoilers to the best of my ability. But it feels like the stakes are super duper low, and it goes into the most cliche superhero film I may have ever seen. This feels like Marvel's first attempt at superhero films back in like early 2000s, but somehow this came out this year. Everything we've learned from superhero films over the last fucking 2 decades is thrown out the window for this one, and it falls back on the most generic shit ever. The villains are beyond bland and forgettable. They literally come out of nowhere and it's like, we're mad, we're gods, and you've made us mad because of this wizard that did this, and we're mad, so we're gonna destroy your world now. Maybe. But they're also just not powerful at all. They're not intimidating or strong. They had to have a little doodad, a little plot device gizmo that's able to instantly sap their power when they get shot by it. They literally have plot convenience darts that they can fire out of a staff, and when it hits them, it steals their power back and they just become normal kids again. Because if it was to be like an actual toe-to-toe fight, they'd lose, and it wouldn't even be close. One of the villain's powers is she can whisper in your ear and make you do things, but she can't even do that half the time. She only demonstrates this working twice. The other, like, 3 times she uses it, a child overcomes it every time. A literal kid. It's supposed to showcase the kid being strong, but really it just showcases that god being weak as fuck, where she can't even, like, mind control a child. So, and that's all she does. She doesn't even demonstrate, like, super strength or anything. All she can do is whisper, tell you little secrets, and, like, inception you. And that's it. And then, like, the main villain, she can control elements, but all she uses that for is to make a box hit Shazam at one point, or throw a amalgamation of concrete and traffic cones at Shazam once, and then put up a barrier twice. It's like, it's all so unbelievably underwhelming. They're just not good villains at all. Like, from a writing perspective, a motive perspective, power perspective, they're not cool. There's a dragon in the movie, and even the dragon's not cool. The dragon's so fucking weak. They hype up the dragon like it's the eater of worlds and all that, but we don't see it do anything at all that demonstrates it being anything more than just this flying nuisance like a mosquito. But anyway, I'm focusing on that a little too much. This is, at its core, a movie for children. In fact, the entire auditorium was filled with families and their kids that would cheer anytime anything at all happened with, like, jingling keys. Like, I know Shazam, the first one, is very much a family film, but this one is like 10x the childishness of that. From its jokes to its, like, actual plot and things that happen, this is very, very clearly geared towards a young audience. So that was a little disappointing. But even, like, the shit that happens in this film is so goofily non-important that even the main characters, for the most part, don't take it even remotely seriously for even a second. It just never feels like there's any real peril. And I absolutely fucking hate that since this has gone so far back in time into superhero movies, it has this big clusterfuck of bad CGI monsters that get spawned in. Literally like some Power Rangers shit. Just like these monsters that get spawned in, they're super shitty. They don't do anything. They, like, kind of move around a little bit. and I think they kill like 2 civilians. Kill, I'm using loosely. They throw them like 2 feet in the air, and it's presumed that that civilian got hurt. It's just not very good at anything. I think the actors do a great job with the material that they're forced to work with. Like the acting, I actually thought was even like improved. In the first film, it didn't really feel like Shazam the adult was the kid. It was 2 separate characters. Here, they feel a lot more in line, which is clearly what they're going for, and they definitely did a better job of that. But he's not really the main character in this one. Freddy's really like the heart of this film and where most of the emotion comes from. And Freddy's actor does a great job, honestly. Like, Freddy's a pretty decent character. Probably the best character in the movie, honestly. Like, he does get a bit annoying, but that's also one of his main traits. Overall, it just feels like this movie served no purpose. It felt like they made it because they felt forced to. I would imagine initially Black Adam was supposed to play a role in this because fucking obviously it's Shazam and Black Adam, but The Rock wasn't really willing to play ball. So instead, they had Black Adam be completely separate, which ended up tanking this film as well. So they had to fucking ham fist and cobble together this mess of a movie. And I'm calling it a mess, but it's not like it's fucking horrible or anything. It clearly knows that it's a movie for kids, and it leans into that. So I guess a lot of it's supposed to be something that you just give a pass to, but it's just not interesting at all. It really isn't. And I really hate a lot of the back and forth that happens, in particular in the middle act of this, where it's hard to talk about with spoilers, but there's a lot of back and forth with things getting taken and then getting taken back and then taken again and then taken back. It's just, I don't know. Not a lot of this movie worked for me. The movie was really at its best when it still had like elements of adventure, which were kind of in the beginning, where, for example, they went into a room that had a lot of doors leading to a lot of places. It was a cool little environment and a cool concept that wasn't really explored. But it was a cool idea, it was interesting. Then they go to a library with flying books and like this omniscient pen that can write down anything and answer any question you have. Those 2 things are cool, but you don't see a lot of that here. There's really just not a lot of magic in general, especially for something that involves a wizard and the powers being of magic origin and the villains having magic powers. It's crazy how not prominent the magic is in the film, which is a weird decision. But yeah, aside from a couple instances of a few scenes that I thought were done well, there just wasn't a whole lot I really liked about the movie. Plugging Shazam Fury of the Gods into the moist meter, I'm gonna have to give it a 40%. I really don't think it's horrible, and definitely I can see kids enjoying this movie. I heard kids enjoying this movie while at the theater. They were going fucking crazy anytime any kind of fucking fight or anything would happen, really. So I guess it might be a hit for a young audience, but I certainly wasn't in there pumping my fist at the film or anything. So that's really about it. As most of you know, we started our own comic book series called GODSLAP. Everyone who's read GODSLAP so far has unanimously agreed that it's the best comic ever produced, and GODSLAP is well on its way to becoming the biggest name in all of comics, overthrowing Marvel within the next 5 years, according to recent scientific projections that I'm pulling out of my ass. It's a passion project created by myself, Jackson, Danny, and Matt, and we brought in an industry veteran named Aubrey Sitterson to help write it with us, and we're extremely proud of what we've created. Issue 1 and 2 are already out, and Issue 3 came out today, as of right now. Issue 3 is available at GODSLAPbook.com, and per usual, this is the standard cover, but we also have 2 limited edition variants, which will only exist until they're sold out, and then they'll never be reprinted. So they're available at GODSLAPbook.com.